Stampers, Diane Dimich here with DDStamps.com, and I want to welcome you tonight to the online workshop. I'm really excited about this one. It's going to be, I believe it's all about Christmas, mostly for the most part. I am going to tell you, if you are over on my website watching, hopefully you refreshed your screen. I noticed in the email that I sent out at 6:30, I had posted the wrong link, but I went back in quickly and changed them out so that you get the right links and so that hopefully everybody has shown up. DDStamps.com, and I want to welcome you tonight to the, sorry about that. That just tells you exactly how much behind you guys are from me, just a few paces behind me. So I'm hoping that people can start hearing me, and if you can, I would love it. People have already said hello in the comments section. I'd love it if you click in there and let me know that you can hear me and see me okay. If you're having trouble, refresh your screen. And I know that you're probably not going to hear me say that, but that's the best thing that I can tell you. So I am going to, I wanted you to know that yes, I am on YouTube Live, and I can watch the comments on there throughout the night. As you know, when I'm doing these, I can't always get the comments right away, but I will go back and check, and I will be checking all night. So if you have questions, feel free to ask at any time. And if I missed your question and don't answer it, you can ask it again. So we are going to get started. Let me pull up my slides that I did. There's a couple things I wanted to share with you tonight before we got started. And this is actually one of a new reminder that I've got for people. Now, I know that some people have been having some trouble when they're typing in a comment and all of a sudden the screen refreshes and you've lost your comment and you have to start typing all over again. So way down here, if you guys are on Facebook, those of you who are on Facebook, if you're on YouTube or my website, this won't apply to you. Just comment and I will find it. But if you're on Facebook, right down here where it says auto refresh comments, if that is checked, it's going to auto refresh the comments every 90 seconds. And it doesn't matter if you're typing or not. If you're in the middle of a sentence, it's going to refresh and you're going to lose everything you typed. So if your comment is a little bit longer than or longer than you think, or you're not sure when it last refreshed, just come up and unclick that, type in your comment, and then you can click it again and refresh. Or you can always just go right over here and refresh at any moment, anytime that you want to refresh the comments. So I hope that makes sense to people. Right up here where I've got this other arrow where they have this little gear here, if you are having trouble, if it's blurry, or if you're just having trouble, you want to make it a higher quality video, you can click on that gear and it'll give you a higher quality. The higher the number, the higher the quality of the video. So just a couple of little tidbits to remember. Always remember that you can ask me questions at any time. I'm game for questions at any time, and I will try to answer them. One of the nice things about doing this here is that you got a question about something that I can reach into my room here and find whatever it is and try to explain and help you out. So good. People are telling me that they can see and hear me fine. That is awesome. Oh my gosh, I can't even begin to tell you. We got lots of people on. Of course, now the dog's going to bark because there's probably a deer in the yard and she wants out. There. She doesn't do anything but chase them away, and that they don't really care because they'll come back as soon as she comes back in. They like to sleep in our yard under the apple tree. Lots of people on. That's awesome. Yeah. Pam, I can't wait to see you in Oregon. That's awesome. Hi, Julie. Nice to see you. Melody's here. Kathy's here from Indiana. Anne from Sacramento. Sharon from Minnesota. Cool. And it just refreshed on me. See, I get the same thing that you guys get. It refreshes on me, and then I don't have a clue where I was. So anyway, I will run through those comments after I show the first video because you guys don't really want me to sit here and comment everybody, but I will. So slide number 2. This is the first card. This was a big question this month. If you purchased from me in October, this is kind of similar to what your card looked like, but I did do a couple of changes to it. People wanted to know how I did the stamping on that image in there. And actually, it's really fun and it's a really easy technique. I love the technique with lots of different things. So that's great. And this is going to be the first tutorial that we have tonight. Let's hope this isn't how a whole night's gonna go. Let me start that slide again. I was just trying to turn the volume up a little bit for you. Hey Stampers, Diane Dimich here with DDStamps. Oops, did this card. There's a couple of different techniques in here, so you might want to stick around till the end of the video. But I've got a technique to show you on how I stamp the image, and then some sponging on the back of the designer paper. And then one of my favorite techniques is this one here, where I actually dyed the ribbon. I'll show you a quick and easy way to do that. So to get started, I'm going to just let you know I used a piece of Mossy Meadow as my card base. It was 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4 and folded in half. And then this is a piece of the designer series paper in the In Colors collection. And the paper is 4 by 5 1/4. And then the rest of the products in there. So what I used was the Thankful Forest Friends stamp set. And I actually used this stamp here to do that multicolored image. But you could also use this stamp. You could use lots of stamps. There's lots of stamps in that would work. Almost any stamp would work with this technique. Okay, so let's get started. To begin with, I took this is actually a dry baby wipe. It's only dry because I left the container open, but this works great for this technique. But you can also use a piece of felt, which I've used before and it's worked great. But I'm just going to go ahead and lay down that dry baby wipe, and I'm going to take a little of the basic black ink and my stamp. I'm going to use this one today. Ink that up, and I'm going to stamp that down on the baby wipe. And if you want to, you can take a pencil or marker or something and just kind of trace out where that stamp. Just going to give you a guide for when you want to put the stamp down. It's not very good, but you'll be able to see it. You can just see a little bit around there, just so that I know exactly where I'm going to go ahead and place that stamp after I've inked this up. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this. Okay, now that that's clean, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a couple of refill bottles. And today I'm using Tangelo Twist, Blackberry Bliss, Mossy Meadow, and Hello Honey. And what I'm going to do with these is I'm actually just going to put ink onto my project for that image where I want that color to come through on my image. I hope that makes sense. So I'll just put a little bit of Hello Honey. And then on that stem, I'm going to go ahead and use the Mossy Meadow. I think I'll do it down here too. So I'm just putting some ink on places that I would want on that image. Now you could do this technique, if you're just doing a card or two, you could do this technique with markers on the back of your rubber stamp, just coloring with markers, but this is a way to do it so that you can make a lot of images actually. And I'm going to go in with my Tangelo Twist, and I actually put a lot of Tangelo Twist into this one. And then on the words, I'm actually using the Blackberry Bliss. It looks like I have one more leaf to color too. I want to make sure that that one gets color into it. Let's do yellow, I guess. No, let's do a green one. Shouldn't be so indecisive. There we go. So once that's ready to go, that's your ink pad. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come in with some Whisper White paper here, hopefully, that I've got sitting here. And my stamp. So I'm going to go ahead and you're just going to kind of make sure that you line your stamp up back into that square where it was. You want to push it down a few times. The first few images don't look so great, but after that, they look. You're just going to be shocked. So I think this one's going to actually look okay. But you can see how you can get that image with all those fun colors. And you can do lots. I'm not kidding. I've done like
Depending on how many times I pressed, I could do 25 images with the different colors. But just a really fun way to get a lot of color onto a stamp, and it works with lots of different stamps. So go ahead and try that. And then I used the 2.5 inch circle punch and just lined it up, punched it out, and there was my image. So I'm going to go ahead and set this aside because that ink does come through the other side. You might want to put maybe a plastic plate or something on. But this, honestly, this ink pad is going to be good for about 20 more images stamped, at least. And then you can just always add more ink to it. So there's my image, my circle image. And then for the background paper, on some of the cards that I did, I used just a piece of background paper, but I didn't really care for that bold stripe. And so what I did is I'm going to come in with the Mossy Meadow ink and a sponge, and I just took one of our sponges and cut it in quarters, and then just sponge on some ink to just tone down that Mossy Meadow. It just kind of tones it down a little bit so it's not so bold. I just like this look for this particular card. And I've actually found myself lately toning down lots of the designer series paper. It's kind of fun to be able to add color. The other thing you can do, I've decided on this particular card, I'm going to go ahead and use this ribbon, but I want to make it actually Tangelo twist. And we're going to see if this works. So I'm going to add a little rubbing alcohol to one of our spritzers. That's probably enough. I got about a half a jar in there. And then I'm going to take the Tangelo twist re-inker. And I put 14 drops in there. I don't know why I picked 14, but I think that'll be good enough. And then add the lid. And then instead of shaking it, I'm just going to go ahead and spin it in my hands. So that will mix up with that rubbing alcohol. And the reason that I use rubbing alcohol, just so that you know, I use rubbing alcohol because it dries quickly. It makes a great transporter for that refill ink to get to the ribbon, but then as soon as it hits it, it dries fairly quickly. That's why I use rubbing alcohol. Okay, and then I'm just going to put a piece of paper down. I'm going to move all my stuff out of the way so I don't end up with Tangelo twists everywhere. And I'm going to flip this over, get that started. Ooh, I like it. Okay, so there's just one way you can dye your ribbon. So you could take any ribbons that we have and make them the color that you want. How pretty is that? If you want to, you could spray the back, but this is going to be for the front of my card. But you'll see how quickly that rubbing alcohol is drying, and that's why I used it. I hit that with a heat gun, and then I'm going to just come back, and I will attach this piece to my card base, which happens to be Mossy Meadow. And I cut a piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock, scored it at 4 1/4, folded it. That's your basic card base. I'm going to add some adhesive here. And actually, I'm just going to kind of throw this down kind of randomly. And then add a little bit more texture. I'm going to come in with some of our striped cotton ribbon and just snip off some of that. And that too is just going to kind of get placed randomly. I've noticed lately a real trend in cards just having snippets of ribbons and lace and all kinds of stuff. And then add on my stamped image with a couple of dimensionals. And there you have it. There's the card that I sent out as my thank you for October.
Okay, so that was just a really quick card that I did. I really like that technique, and I've used that technique with lots of different things. You know, you can do it for anything. I mean, really, you could use any image. And just, I love the technique with the baby wipe. Now, I used a baby wipe. I happen to have a package of baby wipes here that I left open, and so they dried out. And it works really well. Some people do it with a wet baby wipe, but I haven't. I think in my opinion, the ink bleeds together too much. But it's just a different look. Some people just do a whole bunch of different reinkers onto a baby wipe, and then it can be wet. So it's kind of tie-dyed look. And then just stamp your stamp. And you get random color everywhere. the way that that technique that I like to do actually puts the color kind of on the stamp where you want it. But there's lots of different things you can do with that. And like I said, I can get 25 images out of what I just did on there on video. I can usually get about 25 images, which is great, especially when you're making lots of cards. So anyway, there were a few things. Lots of people are on tonight. We have a big group on tonight, so I just want you guys to know that. So if I'm missing your comments or your questions, I do want to say hello to everybody. I think if we actually had a map and everybody marked where they came from, not only would we fill the United States, but we also have people from out of the country. We have, I know Tanya's here from Australia, lots of Canadians on, and so it would be really fun. Maybe someday I'm going to figure out how to do that, where we can all pinpoint on the map where we're coming from, just so I can see. It's always interesting to see so many new places. So thanks for joining me. Now, how this works is I will demonstrate with videos, and during the video time, I'm usually checking for comments and questions. And so I need to figure out how to get back to my screen. Sorry. Of course, it's the last place I check. I will tell you, oh, Glenda went over to YouTube because it was clear reception. And Tanya, I see you're here from St. Louis, so welcome to you too. Oh, goodness. Oh, there's lots of questions. Okay, so I am going to run through those questions as I'm showing the next slide, because there's a ton tonight. And I will answer. I know that people are asking questions of what kind of ribbon it is and if it will work with photopolymer stamps. Yes, it will. Oh, I did have one question I wanted to, I didn't want to show you that yet. On this particular card, oh, I bet I'm showing on there, aren't I? Here, I'm thinking that I'm showing you slides and it's actually me. So we're going to do just a little contest. This is the card that I made. I've got it here. I'm ready for an envelope to go out the door. To the first person who can tell me which stamp set that this stamp came from, and I said it at the beginning of the video. So if you can remember which stamp set this image came out of, I will send this to you in the card, in the mail. And so the first person that does that will get that. I'm going to start up the next slides or the next video, and then I will be checking for the right answer. When I come back, I'll let you know who won. Cool. Oh, quickly, this is the product that I used. So hopefully by now, so I'm sure somebody's typed up what the winning one was, but this is actually the list of products that I used. So it was the Thankful Forest Friends stamp set, and then the reinkers and the spritzers. And just so you're aware, these slides will be up afterwards. I'll put the slides up underneath the video. So if you don't want to listen to all the chit chatter on the video, you can just go to the slides and click through. And all these links end up being clickable. They'll take you directly to my online store when I'm done. So let's go on to the next project. Is this card. This is a quick, easy Christmas card, but man, is it shiny. It's beautiful. I think you'll like this technique, if I can get to it. Oh, I'm having some issues with my mouse tonight. Any minute now. There we go.
Hi Stampers, Diane Dimich here with DDStamps.com, and today I'm here to show you how I did this card. It's actually a very simple Christmas card, but it really packs a big punch with that red foil paper. So to begin with, I used the Embellish Ornament stamp set and the matching thinlets that go with that. If you purchase these two together, you do get a 15% discount, but these are great options to use separately too. So what I did is I came in with an 8.5 by 5.5 sheet of cardstock, scored at 4 1/4 for my base, a piece of red foil paper that is 4 by 5 1/4. That's just going to give me a nice little edge around that base of that cardstock. And then this is a piece of Whisper White that is 3.5 by 4 3/4. And this is actually the one that I'm going to use right now. So to begin with, I'm going to go ahead and cut this out with my Big Shot. And I'm going to bring that in. One of the things that I like to do with my Big Shot, especially when using these detailed dies, is I'm going ahead with the magnetic platform, and then I'm using a dryer sheet, and I'm going to line this up on that piece of Whisper White where I want that to be cut out. And what that magnetic platform is going to do is hold it in place where I want it, and the dryer sheet is actually going to make it easy to get that image right out of the Thinlits. So I'm going to run this through. So move this out of the way. And then you can see that Thinlit just falls right off of the cardstock. And then this is just going to pull out. And you want to do this gently because it's got a lot of detail. And I don't really want to rip something, so you just have to gently pull an end up, and then it'll come right off. And what happens is all those little tiny pieces of cardstock actually stay on the dryer sheet, and so then it's a great detailed cutout, and all the mess stays on here. I kind of like that. And I actually need to pull this up because I need that too. And then once I've done that, I need to cut out with my silver scrap. I am going to cut out a little topper for my ornaments. So I will be right back. Okay, so I've got that little topper cut out too. And so that is ready to go. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my Versamark ink and some silver embossing powder. And then this is just an embossing buddy. And an embossing buddy, I'm just going to rub it over the part that I want to emboss. And this will make sure that the static from my cardstock or the oils from my pans don't attract the embossing powder and get it all over my card. And I'm going to go ahead and use this Thinking of You at Christmas stamp, and I'll ink that up. And I'm going to stamp this down right there. You won't be able to see it because Versamark is a clear sticky ink. But I'm going to bring in a piece of, it's just typing paper. And it's just going to help me contain the mess of the embossing powder. And so I'm going to sprinkle my embossing powder on there. I'm just going to use my heat tool. And when I hit this with embossing, or with heat, you'll be able to see the embossing powder melt. And there you have it. You can see how nice and silver and shiny that is. And then it's just a matter of putting this card together. So we'll take that base and fold it in half. Add my red foil cardstock. And I do have to be a little careful with this red foil paper because I think I'm running out of adhesive. It does get, because it's foil, it does get a crease or a bend in it pretty easily. Then I'm going to take this piece of Whisper White that I've embossed, and I'm going to go ahead and just add some adhesive to it. And line that up right towards the middle of the card. And then I'm going to take my piece here that I die cut out, and I'm just going to add, not too much, just a little adhesive here and there. And that is going to slide right down into where we cut it out of, kind of like a puzzle piece. And adhere that down. And then take my little topper. And add that to the top. And then last but not least, I came in with some of this silver ribbon that we have. It's just 1/8 inch silver ribbon. Show you quickly that I'm just going to tie a bow. I'm not going to put a knot in that bow because I want it to lie flat so that there'll be no extra postage or any bumps in my card. There's just a quick way to make a bow. And then this is going to get attached onto my card with a glue dot. So I'll just get a little glue dot onto the middle of that ribbon and attach that wherever I want to. And there you have it, just a very quick, easy, stunning Christmas card. That foil paper is gorgeous, and all that silver embossing. So I hope.
Okay, so there's card number 2. This happens to be one of my favorite cards, and I actually think it's probably one of the easier cards I've ever done. There's something about embossing that I love because it just looks so awesome. So this is actually the card, and you can see, I'm hoping the light's going to show here, but you can just see that red foil paper with that red or that silver topper on there, and then the embossing down here. Lots of fun techniques in there. I had lots of questions. So to begin with, this card here, this cracks me up because the first person to answer correctly was Stephanie Anderson. Stephanie lives about 3 blocks that way from my house. I just think that's funny that she's in town with me. I've got a couple of people that are in town with me. Lindsay's here too, I know for sure. And I don't know if Teresa's here. Sometimes she is, but she might have been busy today. So I'm going to answer a bunch of questions, but while I'm doing that, if you want to answer the correct question for this card, I will be mailing this one out to somebody. And what did I use with my big shot to get all those little pieces of paper out of that little die right there? So you answer that question correctly first, I will send that card to you. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to answer some questions. I have a notebook here, actually, that I kept. So I kind of jotted down some notes. Julie asked about the moose report. And the last couple of weeks, I've been able to give you an answer about the moose. I have not seen it this week in town, but they're here. There's actually a couple of them. In fact, Stephanie, who won the card, has, I think her neighborhood has the moose almost every morning. So I didn't have a picture today of the moose, which is kind of a bummer, but they're pretty cool. I mean, we live in an area in Montana that is awesome because we have deer, turkeys, moose, bear, not yet anymore. We don't see much of the bear anymore, but over the summer we did. And it never gets old. I could have deer in my yard every day and it never gets old. Turkeys, they might get a little old, but no, I'm just kidding. There's just tons of them. Tanya, I told you, I did see over on YouTube. Thankful Forest Friends was the name of the stamp set. Christine is here from Oregon. I'm really excited because tomorrow morning I'm leaving for Oregon. Actually, I'm leaving for Vancouver, Washington, flying into Portland for the weekend. I'm doing a Stampin' Up event tomorrow night and Saturday. And then my daughter's coming up and we're going to spend a couple days together out in Portland in that area. So that's what I've been busy all week doing. I'm doing a presentation actually on Saturday, and I had to practice my presentation and hope I do okay. No, it'll be fine. Carol asked if it was okay to do that last technique with the baby wipes with photopolymer stamps, and I don't see why not. I think you would be just fine with that. It's just a matter of stamping it up on that baby wipe or felt or whatever you're using, and getting your ink where you need it. And actually, it might be easier with the photopolymer stamp because you're going to be able to see exactly where you're stamping down into that baby wipe without having to kind of, with the wood stamps, you kind of have to guess. That's why I draw a little square around it. But with photopolymer, you'll be able to see right through those. Dorothy asked, with the leaf stamp, could you do that? Yes. Any stamp you have will work. Any stamp, whether it's a bold stamp or a line image stamp, it all works. So that's fun. Carolyn's having a problem with her locking, her punch locking. It's, oh, I bet the lock is popping off, I bet is the problem. Carolyn, if you purchase that through me, send me an email and tell me which punch it is, and I can get it replaced through Stampin' Up. Sometimes they do they pop off, and I think it was, I don't know. Sometimes I don't care because half the time I don't lock them anyway. But if you want me to get it replaced, let me know. Andrea asked if the ribbon was cotton or polyester, maybe I think you asked. All I know is this is jute. I've done that with all kinds of ribbons. So I think any ribbon that will soak up any of that rubbing alcohol with the dye ink in it would work perfect. Teresa, oh, will it work with the paper towel? Now we're talking about the last thing I demonstrated with the ink on the baby wipe. And yes, the problem that I have with paper towels is that they're so porous, it soaks up the ink so quickly and then it spreads out. And so you may not get it exactly where you want it, but it should work. Like I said, I've done it with felt and I've done it with paper towel, but give it a try with, or felt or baby wipe, but give it a try with paper towel. Maybe it will work. Linda asked if it would work with a dryer sheet. No, I don't think so because dryer sheets, you can see through them so much. So I don't know if it would hold any ink. if they're used, and if they're new, then you want to use them to do that card. So that was the answer, is the dryer sheet. So hopefully somebody out there has already posted an answer, which I'm sure you have. And I will be checking for more messages and more questions when I do the next tutorial. Now this is a slide with the products that I use to make this card here. We use the embellished ornaments, and I use the framelits and the foils. The gold and the silver and the red foils are absolutely gorgeous. And this time of year, wow, they're beautiful. Okay, this is the next card. And actually this one was inspired by the other morning when I walked out the door for exercise. And we have some beautiful sunrises and sunsets, but the other morning, and the card I made didn't do it justice, but the second one, I did the best I could. I wish I had had my phone with me as I walked out the door because it was unbelievably beautiful. But this card was actually inspired from that. So here we go.
Hey Stampers, Diane Dimich here with DDStamps.com, and today I'm going to show you how I made this card. I'm going to use a couple different colors because I want to make it a Christmas card. But this morning when I stepped outside my back door to go to exercise, this is kind of what our sky looked like as the sun was coming up. It was Cajun Craze, Calypso Coral, Sky, Pool Party, and Soft Sky. And it was just amazing to me, and I came home and made this card after I saw it, just using a sponging technique. But I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing with that stamp set, Wonderland. This is the one that I've used, but I'm going to make this one a Christmas card. So to begin with, I'm just going to take a piece of typing paper. It's just copy paper, and I'm just going to kind of make a tear on that. I'm going to bring in my piece of shimmer white cardstock, and I'm actually just going to put this on here. I don't want a whole lot, but I'm going to mask off some of it so that you can see some white in the background. I wanted it to look like there was a white hill. And then I'm going to come in, and the colors that I'm using all purples, is Eggplant, Perfect Plum, and Wisteria Wonder. And so I'm going to start with the Eggplant because I'm going to make that the darkest color and have that be at the bottom. And get a little ink on there, and then just brush it up right along the edge of that, what I consider to be the snow. But you can see how you get that. Isn't that awesome? How you get that line from where that mask is. And I could tape this down if I chose to. I'm just going to hold it tight. But you can just see it just makes a really, really purple background. It's okay, I got that little splotch there because I'm going to come in with that big tree stamp. And I'm actually going to stamp this in, I think I might do it in Eggplant. I think before I do that in Eggplant, I'm going to re-ink that. I'm going to re-ink the, stamp pad because I think it's kind of dry. So I'm just going to add a little ink on there, and you don't need to add a ton because the ink on these new ink pads sits at the top, and so you don't need a whole bunch, but just enough to get a good image. Oh, actually, I was going to do this in silver, but that's all right. I'll do it in purple. Pretty. Woo! I think I'll stop right there. I love that. I love it in the purples. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to trim this down, and I'm going to attach it to a base of purple and probably add a word stamp right across the top. And if you really wanted to, you could actually even come in with a few snowflakes, but I'm not. I'm going to leave it alone. But I'll be right back. I'm going to go trim this and put it on some cardstock. Okay, so what I did is I trimmed this down just 1/4 inch on the bottom and the side, and then I took a piece of the eggplant. This is 8.5 by 5.5. Folded at 4 1/4, so that's just a regular card base. And I'm just going to attach that onto that cardstock, and just a great technique using just a couple of ink and that copy paper to make your mask. And if you really wanted to, you could actually even add some dazzling diamonds in there to really make that snow pop. But I like it just the way it is. And so I'm just going to flip this over, add some adhesive, and attach it to my card base. Super simple, but yet looks great. So there you have it. If you haven't already done so, I will post all the products. And
so all the products will be posted on here shortly. I had lots of questions during that little time there that I want to get answered. So let me come back on screen. One of the things I love about that particular card is that it works great with any color. I actually, when I started out making that card, it kind of makes me laugh because I go in with a plan when I start a video and then I totally change it. So I actually was going to do some silver embossed trees onto that card. It was going to be purple background and then silver trees, which would have been beautiful, but I actually liked the purple background with the purple trees, and it would work with any color. You could do any color. And it just gives you an idea of all the stuff you can do with a little bit of color and some ink. Okay, so Brenda asked me the name of the ornament set, and that was called the Embellished Ornaments. This was the stamp set, and it has a matching framelit, and so you purchase them together, you get 15% off the bundle. Fun stamp set. Susan asked me on my website, she likes to buy stamp sets, but wants to be able to use them for other things. So I'm looking at this stamp set, and she's like, what else could you use it for? So sometimes I turn them upside down and look and see if I can see anything besides ornaments. Tonight I'm just seeing ornaments, but you could actually just cut out this little flower here and use that on a card. And you could probably even use it with this as just a green vine and then some of these flowers on there. Same thing with this flower over here. You could do this piece here as just trim along the side of your card. And as far as the stamps goes, this is thinking of you at Christmas, but if you just inked up thinking of you and not the at Christmas, you've got another stamp there. And then this one here, if this one says with loving wishes, you just didn't ink up that part, that would be a nice sentiment. So I'll have to think on that one. That's a good question, but I do like to come up with other things to do besides just Christmas. Don't get just stuck on Christmas. But good question there, Susan. And Karen asked if I ever get out to New Jersey, and I have never been to New Jersey, but I love to travel. And see, Stampin' Up! Now is doing, every 6 months, they're doing different events. And so they'll never come to Montana. They'll never come close enough to me that I wouldn't have to fly or drive a long way. That's why I'm going out to Vancouver, Washington. Worked out great because my daughter's out there. And then in April, they're doing one down in Salt Lake, which is not, it's 9 hours for me. I'll either fly or drive. If I can get a couple people to go with me, I'll drive. And then, you know, so they'll have stuff all over. So who knows? I may show up in New Jersey sometime. And if I do, Karen, I'll look you up. That'd be awesome. Okay, so I just made a mistake. So I'm going to pull up the supplies that I used for that particular project. What did I? Oh, somebody won. Julie. I knew I was forgetting something. Julie Grassel, you got the correct answer, as dryer sheet is what I used with the magnetic platform to pull off all those little pieces of white paper. So Julie, I will send you, I don't know if I have your address, Julie, so you'll have to message me or email me your address, and I will make sure that you get that foil Christmas card. I put it down somewhere, now I can't find it, but it's here somewhere. So if you just send me a message, Julie, and I will get that out to the mail to you. Hopefully soon. Probably. Oh, I'll do it tonight. I'll try to do it tonight and stamp them and then my husband can put them in the mail because I won't be here for a couple days. So anyway, congratulations, Julie. That's exciting. Julie wins quite often, actually. She's an avid follower of my Stampin' Up workshops. So these are the products. Oh, did I put that up there yet? Or is it still looking at me? No. Okay, so these are the products that I used. Oh yeah, I already talked about that because I talked about that foil paper. Oh, duh. I'm really confused. Sorry. This is the card that I just showed. These are the supplies that I used. Now I didn't do a little giveaway for this one, so sorry. Maybe I'll think of something while the next video is playing. But like I said, this is a pretty simple card. You could make a lot of cards with this stamp set. And like I said, one color of ink. I didn't even have to use a couple inks. I could have just gotten away with one color and it would have looked fine, and it could be any color. And one of the things I love about this particular stamp set is that it's a year-round set. Even though some of the sentiments are very Christmassy, those trees can go a long way, and that bow can go a long way. And as far as the horns go, I have not done anything with the horns at this point, but it's funny because it's pretty trendy right now to have horns on stuff with stamps. And so who knows? I may come up with some fabulous idea with them. I haven't at this point. Oh, yep, somebody already posted up. So somebody asked about those ornament stamps, if they could be used for something different. And Darlene, you're getting the tree card. She came up with the idea to use them as vases. I love that idea. You could cut off the I'm coming back on. I want to talk to you about this because I love that idea. So Darlene said you could use these two stamps here as vases. You could actually just cut them flat. Gosh, wouldn't they be gorgeous? They would look very like Santa Fe. But anything. I mean, you could bright colors. That'd be fun. So way to go, Darlene. Send me your address, Darlene, either through a message or through email, or do it on Facebook probably. Might be the easiest, and I will send you that tree card. So congratulations. That's awesome. Okay, let's pull up my slides. Here we are. Sometimes I can't. I have to look through stuff to find them. Okay, so that's the card you're going to get, Darlene, when I get your address. So this project, I love this project. This is one of those things I love to do. I've done it since, oh gosh, I think I've been stamping on candles since 1996. It's just one of those techniques I absolutely love, and it's easy to do. I just did this really quickly because I wanted you to see it done, but you can do it with any image. You can do it with a detailed image and color with markers on the back. Super easy to do. And I am going to pull up the slide and we will watch the video and then I will answer questions. So here we go.
Hey Stampers, Diane Dimich here with DDStamps.com, and today I'm here to show you how to do this great gift idea. It's embossing on candles. It's actually fairly simple to do. You can use all different kinds of images. I use the trees from the Wonderland tree set, or Wonderland set. And, but you can also do line image stamps, color on the back of the tissue paper. But anyway, let's get started so I can show you how quick and easy this is. For this project, I'm going to go ahead and use, we're going to be using tissue paper, Versamark ink, silver embossing powder, and I am going to use the embossing buddy. One of the reasons I like to is you just rub that over the surface that you're going to emboss. And this is going to be the tissue paper. And that'll take away the static or the oils from your fingers. All that stuff picks up the embossing powder. And so that embossing buddy will just take care of that. And I'm going to use the tree from Wonderland, the Wonderland stamp set. I'm going to go ahead and use this tree here, or set of trees. I'm just going to go ahead and stamp that on my project. And then sprinkle with embossing powder. And I'm going to put a little piece of tissue or copy paper under here. The reason I do that is just to catch the embossing powder, and then it's easy to get it all to go back in the jar. So I'll just dump the embossing powder over those trees. shake off the excess. I'm going to put the embossing powder back in. So I just use the paper, dump it all back into the jar. One of the things I find about embossing powder, a little goes a long way. And once you've opened a jar, it seems to multiply. So once I've got that embossed, I'm going to go ahead with my heat tool. And I'm going to do this on camera. You can see how quickly it happens. But it happens quickly with tissue paper because it's so thin. So it melts very quickly. And you want to make sure that you don't heat it too much and end up with your scorching the tissue paper. So once I start heating this, it's going to go fairly quickly. There you have it. So there's your tissue paper, silver trees. And then I'm going to take just a regular scissor and I'm going to trim this out. And I want to leave a little bit of an edge of tissue paper, but not a ton. You don't want it to, you just need to like trim out. And I don't trim any sharp edges. I just do rounded edges. Maybe, there we go. And once I've got that done, I'm going to come in and I use just the cheapest candles I can find. You want to make sure that it's, you know, I use a white candle because I think that's the easiest. Take off this. You also want to make sure that it's got wax that goes all the way through. And it's, if you use a high quality candle, what happens is it melts too quickly and you end up with a puddle of wax. So you're going to lay your tissue paper on here. One of the things I want you to remember when you're doing this is it doesn't necessarily have to be an embossed image. I like it because it makes a nice crisp image, but you can also stamp on tissue paper, emboss it, flip it over and color on the back. And so you could do a fine line image also if you chose to. Once you've done that, what I do is I take my heat gun again and I'm going to start in the middle of where the tissue paper is, and this goes fairly quickly. It's going to melt that wax. And you just want to keep it moving. And there you have it, an embossed candle. And it's really pretty. I do have a couple edges here that are up. I probably will heat them once more to make sure. And if I end up with any edges that come up, I can always take a metal spoon and get it heated up a little bit and rub it over, and that'll take your edges down a little bit. But just a really quick, easy way to make a great Christmas present using the same stamps that you've made your cards with. So I'm going to go get the supplies to do a label and a cello bag, and then I'll show you the finished product. Thanks. So I added my candle into a cello bag, tied it with a silver ribbon, and then I'm going to take some of our silver thread and our little tag, and that's just going to get tied right on to where this ribbon is. Thread it up through there. And tie this off. Just a knot, and this will just give you a tag that you could write who it's for. These are great little gifts to have around just in case you need a quick hostess gift for somebody, or somebody swings by with a gift for you. You will have something ready to give to them. It's a little longer than I wanted, but I don't want to putz around too much. But there you have it, just a really quick, fun, easy gift idea with a fairly cheap candle. So get them at the most inexpensive place you can find. Thanks. And if you have
Okay, so honestly, when I do those candles, I really do use the cheapest candles I can find. I like them. I really like them to be white. that's just personal choice. I like them to be wax all the way through. Not sometimes you get dipped candles, so they're clear on the inside, then they dip them. Those don't work as well because the outside is just colored and then the tissue paper gets kind of mucked up. Somebody is going to ask me about fire hazard. Any candle that you give somebody is a fire hazard. So realize that, yes, the tissue paper could catch on fire if they burn their candle down. One of the things I would recommend to somebody that if you made that candle and gave it to them is burn out on the inside until you get a hole, and then you could stick like one of the little votive candles in there. Personally, I've never had one light on fire. But I've also never burnt it down to where it burnt the tissue paper. So I think it's okay. It's just as much of a fire hazard as having a candle left alone burning would be. So a few questions that were asked while that was playing. Oh, Teresa is here. Teresa's my friend that lives down the road that way. And she's the one that said I wasn't sure she was on tonight, but she is. So hi, Teresa. Molly asked about the dazzling diamonds in this card. How would I put that on the snow? And I would use our two-way glue pen. I like this because it's like a marker. So you pull off the cap, and then it's got a marker tip, like a Marks a Lot tip. And then you just draw where you want your glitter to be, and then you sprinkle it over, and it dries right away. Why it's called a two-way glue pen is, number one, you can just glue something with it. But also, if you took a piece of paper and drew on it and then let it dry without touching anything, then it turns into like a Post-it note. So it's really good for masking. That's why it's a two-way glue pen. So there's the answer to that one. Like I said, one of the reasons I like to have these in my room, I can swing back there and find what I need to answer your questions. Darlene, again, came back with, she has seen those horns from that stamp set stamped on the penguins that we have. So pretty funny. You can put horns on anything. So I think we're like, I don't know. I think that might have been the last video, if I remember correctly. We're getting close. So if you have questions, now's the time to ask them. I'm not going to send the candle out as a door prize. Just because it's so big and bulky. But I did want to show you quickly what I used to make these. And honestly, any image, again, will work with this technique. I have done, like the little elf that's in the Occasions mini catalog, emboss that in black. I like to emboss on my tissue paper because tissue paper is so porous that when you stamp on it, it bleeds out. So if you emboss, then your image stays nice and crisp. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to swing around just quickly here and see if there's somewhere where I can ask questions. I've got people never thought of purple for Christmas. Oh my gosh, I love purple at Christmas time. I love purple anytime, but yeah, lots of people use purple, but any color will work. And you have done the candle stamping before. That's awesome. Yes, Trina, you do need to emboss on a candle. It really is as easy as I showed it. And all of the heating that I didn't speed up at all. It doesn't take very long. Yeah, Mary says it's too pretty to burn. You're right. And I have done some candles that are too pretty to burn. But it's such a quick and easy idea. And like I said, it's a great thing to have around at Christmas time, especially when you have those people come and give you a present. And then it's kind of awkward. But if you have a couple candles done up, and it's a pretty easy gift, and it's a personal gift. And like I said, I use the cheaper candles. I don't buy really nice candles to do that, because if you buy a really nice candle and you heat it, it's going to turn into a puddle of oily mess. So just so you're aware. This is this month's tutorial. It's the Joyful Season Christmas card collection, and it's 4 cards done. For those of you that don't know, if you place an order with me in the month of November, and it's a $40 or more order, you get this tutorial free. It's 4, this one happens to be 4 card ideas with printable PDFs and a video that goes with it showing exactly how to make that card. It's a $40 order a month, or in the month, or if you're a member of my virtual club, which virtual club is, it's a 6-month commitment, $25 a month, and each month you get a great tutorial and Also, at the end of your commitment, you get $25 in free product. So if your wish list is long and you want to be a part of my virtual club, you just go to my website, www.DDStamps.com, and there's a link to click. And afterwards, this slide will actually be available, and that Join My Virtual Club link is clickable, so you could click on it and find out all about my club. Next, weekly deals this week. This week's weekly deals, interestingly enough, they all come from the holiday mini catalog. Festive Flower Punch was in my newsletter. I kind of showcased it this week, and that's a great punch for any time of year. It is a poinsettia. It coordinates with a poinsettia set, but it doesn't have to be. So those are some fun things with the weekly deals this week. So we're getting close to the end here, but I just wanted to let you know that I am going to do a couple more videos. I want to show you a couple things online, but just for your information, if you will place an order with me by Saturday, November 14th, you will get a fun, fabulous new product goodie bag from me. I do ask that you use hostess code because that's how I get my goodie bags. Everybody's stuff goes into one pot, and then I divide it up and send it out to everybody, so everybody gets a nice sampling of some great products. So there's the hostess code, and I will show you where I need you to put that. If your order is more $150 or more, please don't use the hostess code, because you will get Stampin' rewards for your order from Stampin' Up, and I'd rather that you get the hostess rewards, but you'll still be a part of the goodie bag. And another thing, if your order is more than $150, you should seriously consider joining my team and becoming a Stampin' Up demonstrator. I have posted the link down below on Facebook that you can just click and to learn more. If you are out on YouTube or on my website, don't hesitate to contact me and talk to me about becoming a demonstrator. It is the best decision that I ever made. No, it's not. I mean, marrying my husband was a good decision. Having my children was a great decision. Becoming a Stampin' Up demonstrator is, right below those. I've had a lot of fun with it, and I really do love this company. So I'm going to come back on again because I'm going to do one more screen share. I want to show you a couple things. I have had a few people this past week place orders with me. And when they place orders, it's coming up as what we call in our world a no contact order, which means that I have no idea who placed the order. And so I'm going to show you quickly how you can change that so that I will know, because I want to make sure if you place an order with me, I want to make sure that I send you a thank you in the mail, and that I send you a thank you in email, and also that email is what contains the link to my free tutorials. So if you have a Stampin' Up account, you just want to go in and sign into your account. If you don't have an account, just set up an account. Once you're in, I need to go to sign in. Sorry. So I'm going to sign in. Once I have my account, up here at the top it says My Account. If I click on that, and then I go to My Demonstrator, down in this file under My Account, you want to make sure that you have this checked yes, that you will allow my demonstrator to contact me with order updates and other information. If you check no, it doesn't, I can never find out who ordered. So I need people to check their accounts and make sure it says yes. Now, if you're getting my thank you gifts and my thank you mail and through email and through the snail mail, then you're good to go. But if you're not, you need to go check this section right here and make sure that that says yes. And, if you choose to, I'd love it if you chose me as your demonstrator. Okay, so once you've done that, we're going to go to the store. And I'm just going to quickly show you. I'll buy something. I'll buy this. I just want to quickly show you, once you've done that, if you can continue shopping by clicking here, or you can view your shopping bag. This is where you want to put in that hostess code, and then you want to hit apply. So if you forget to do this part, it's not the end of the world. It's okay, just contact me and let me know so that I can make sure that you get the credit and make sure that we get you that goodie bag, because that's the most important thing. I want you to get your free gift, because that's fun. So we're coming down to the end. I'm going to be checking around at the various places looking for questions that are out there. I know there's a lot of people talking on YouTube to each other. So I'm going to check over there. Diane, what did you mean about expensive candle versus inexpensive? Dottie asks on YouTube, what do I mean? Well, you know what I mean is an expensive candle would be one that you ordered from a candle company, like Salt City or Scentsy. Those are really good candles. And if you heat them, they are going to turn into a puddle of oil, a puddly mess very quickly. So when I'm talking about cheap candles, I picked mine up at like Ben Franklin's, probably Walmart, Target, any of those, but just don't get the good ones. I don't know, I probably paid $2.99 for that candle. And I think my guess would be probably at a craft store that you would get the kind that I'm talking about. So I hope that answers your question. Oh, there's so many ideas. Okay, so, oh, Julie asked about Paper Pumpkin. If you don't know what Paper Pumpkin is a monthly kit that Stampin' Up! Has. Yes, the name of the Paper Pumpkin kit is like Holly and something, so it's Christmas this time. I don't have any idea what. I don't know if it's cards. I don't know anything else about it, but I do know that mine shipped out today. Yay, I get so excited. I am going to do a little screen share here because if you have a question, now would be the time to ask it. And if you don't have a question, that's great. We are going to do the door prize drawing. So if you're on my website, there's a clickable link below the thing you're watching. If you are on YouTube, there's a link down in the description for the door prize. If you're on Facebook, there is a link to the door prize drawing. How this works, you fill it out. It ends up in a big spreadsheet. And then I have written down a number actually before we got started of who the winner would be without looking at anything. But go ahead and start filling that out while I check around for more questions. Okay, looks like Darlene asked, what kind of a guillotine cutter do you have in the background? It is Stampin' Up's from a couple years ago. The guillotine cutter is. They don't sell it anymore, and I don't know who does. Oh, yep, somebody just said you could trim it to be an Easter egg. You could trim one of those ornaments to be an Easter egg. Yes, you could. That's awesome. Francie, I'm glad that you were able to be here. Thank you. I will have fun on my trip as soon as I get off here and get myself packed. I haven't even done that yet. Andrea, if you order a bundle using an item on the weekly sale, do you get 15% off the new balance? I tried an order and the weekly item in the bundle came up at regular price. No, sad part is, Andrea, if it's a bundle, it's 15% off. If it's on the weekly item, if you just buy the punch, it's 15% off. But if you don't get the discount on the punch, and then the discount as the bundle. I hope that makes sense. Would the candles that have the flake flame work? Andrea, I don't know if the wax on the candles is thick enough on those faked flame ones. I don't know if you could actually melt that into that. Pam, I will have a safe flight and I will see you tomorrow. I'm so excited. Okay, so looks like we have lots of people signing up for the door prize, so that's awesome. I don't see any more questions. I hope I answered everybody's questions over on YouTube. I'm glad that you could join me. Thanks for coming. I am going to, I think I got everybody. I hope I got everybody's questions answered. So the door prize drawing. So this is how it works. I think you guys are gonna be excited. I love the door prize this month. Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention, I didn't mention this. For those people who do decide to place an order with me by Saturday using the hostess code, I'm actually going to do a little drawing. Not only will you get a packet of goodies, but I have 2 hostess sets from the holiday mini catalog that I want to give away. So anybody that places an order by Saturday will get put into a drawing. 2 names will be drawn. The first person will tell me which one they want. I'll send that to them, and then the second person will get the second one. So these are the 2 hostess sets out of the holiday mini catalog. I'm excited to be able to give these away tonight. That's exciting. I'll put those over there so I remember. This Tonight we have, this one is what I'm giving away. It's a whole lot of lovely. It's one of our hostess sets in our big catalog. So somebody tonight is going to win this. And the winner happens to be, how I do this is before we start at night, so everybody fills in the door prize slip, it goes into a spreadsheet, it populates a spreadsheet. I pick somebody out of that spreadsheet. And what I do is I usually write down a number. So the number 29 is the winner. Whoever's name falls on the 29, number 29 this week for the spreadsheet is the winner. And that happens to be Susie Owens. Susie Owens, and it's SZOWENS05 at yahoo.com. She needs to either contact me through email at Diane at DDStamps.com, or she can send me a message. And I will get that out to her. So I think we're getting close. We'll be checking messages, but I do have to let you know I'm leaving at like 3:45, so in a couple hours, heading to the airport to board a plane to Vancouver, Washington for the weekend. This is kind of sad because, no, it's not really sad. Stampin' Up! Is having this big event, and we get to look at all the new stuff coming out. So the occasions catalog that's coming out, we get to see that. We get to see what's going to be new and fun for celebration, and spend 2 days with a whole bunch of crazy stampers, and then spend a couple days with my daughter, make it a quick trip and come home. But it's hard to believe that I'm going to be thinking about spring with all the new stuff that's coming out, but I haven't forgotten Christmas. So I'm glad I got to do this right before I left, but I do have to still do a load of laundry. So I'm going to be checking. Thank you guys. Thanks for all the awesome comments. That's awesome. Thanks, Teresa. Soy candles. Will it work on a soy candle? I have no idea. I've never even worked with a soy candle. So I hope that, I don't know, if you try it, let me know. You are welcome. Everybody is welcome. It was really fun. I love to share and do a lot, teach you guys lots of new techniques. So thank you. If nobody else has any questions, I will stick around for a half hour or so, kind of checking on YouTube, checking on my website, and checking on Facebook for any more questions. Otherwise, you guys have a great night. I won't see you till after Thanksgiving. So have a wonderful Thanksgiving with your family. Watch next week for some emails that are coming out. I'm going to be running a Pay It Forward campaign. I did it last year, and it was very successful, and we made a lot of people's Christmases really fun. And so watch for that coming up. If you haven't already done so, sign up for my newsletter so you can stay in touch with me. So thanks, guys, and have a great night.